In this video, I will answer the question of why underfloor heating with a heat pump is the cheapest option. Here are 5 reasons. 1. Everything runs on electricity. The price of electricity is currently the most stable compared to gas and wood, especially since 2020. Furthermore, if you have a photovoltaic system installed, you can use it to power the consumption of the heat pump with solar energy for free, depending on the heat pump you choose and whether it allows for this in the maximum case. An accessory needs to be added that allows integration with photovoltaic systems, and if anyone can beat that, let them write in the comments below. A lyrical digression. This channel has a mission to track the development of the business from the very beginning. And we are almost at 2,000 subscribers. Subscribe and join the journey. It costs you nothing. Underfloor heating is installed throughout the entire living space, heating every 1 meters. Do not allow or insist that underfloor heating is not placed under beds, wardrobes and so on, because after 5 to 10 years, if you decide to rearrange them, you will not have underfloor heating underneath, and you will know that you should have listened to me when the entire area is saturated with it. Underfloor heating provides the best efficiency because it evenly heats the floor, walls, air, and furniture. And the ceilings? The entire structure of the homes acts as a heat accumulator. I measured the temperatures of the floor and the ceiling, and their difference turned out to be 1 degree. This is the maximum comfort that can be achieved today. Unfortunately, radiators and air conditioners do not distribute heat as evenly, so such comfort cannot be achieved with them. We turn on the underfloor heating at the beginning of winter and turn it off in the spring. This is done because when we give the underfloor heating enough time to warm the home, it is much easier for the heat pump to maintain that temperature. An analogy can be made with urban and rural driving. You know well that when driving in the city, we stop and start constantly, which increases our fuel consumption. However, if we are driving in the countryside, it is very beneficial for the car to maintain the same speed, which significantly lowers fuel costs for heating. It's the same. 4. The temperature of the water going into the floor is set to 35 degrees, which is quite easy and inexpensive for the heat pump to achieve. After that, the water transfers its thermal energy to the screed and the floor covering. This is what an underfloor heating covering looks like. It can have a 1 cm insulation layer or 3 cm. I always prefer to use a 1 cm layer and have 4 to 5 cm of foam underneath because it is much denser and insulates better. The idea is as follows. Heat is spherical energy. It moves downwards to the left, to the right and upwards, so it can only go upwards. We need to insulate it from below as well as possible so we don't heat the neighbors. The final result is that our floor covering, which we walk on, should be around 26 to 28 degrees. If we need to compare underfloor heating and radiators, keep in mind that radiators operate at a water temperature of 70 degrees, which is much harder to achieve for a heat pump. Not to mention that for some heat pumps it is even impossible. There is an option to install an electric heater, but then all the savings go down the drain. 5. The management makes it cheap. As I mentioned, the heat pump is set to 35 degrees, and this is done only once. Forget about hauling wood, splitting, lighting and cleaning, enough of that. From then on, the thermostats control each room separately. Let's say you have a thermostat set to 22 degrees. This thermostat measures the temperature using a sensor, and when the underfloor heating raises the temperature to 22 degrees, the thermostat sends a signal to the manifold box, which closes the circuit for the rooms. In this way, we can set one room to 22 degrees and another room to 26 degrees. This creates unequal comfort compared to any other type of heating. It is true that the initial investment for a heat pump for underfloor heating is indeed high, and that is exactly what makes the system so effective. The technology itself is currently the best technology on the market, which is why it is so expensive. For people who watch this video and have underfloor heating at home, comment below whether you pay low bills or high bills. I'm very curious to hear what you will say. By the way, this is episode 1 of the series where I answer popular, interesting questions about air conditioners and heat pumps, underfloor heating, fan convectors and more.